My name is Daniel LeBlanc.
And my name is Colleen Carpenter.
I went to the club since I was 5 and was Youth of the Year in '91.
I snuck into the Boys and Girls Club when I was 5 years old too, at Sky Blue Mesa up in Canyon Country. But my first real experience with the Boys and Girls Club was when I was hired as an activity aide, is what they called us. And I started working at the Emblem branch of the Boys and Girls Club. And that was where Danny was going, and that's when we met, and that was in 1987. So we had this sleepover at the Emblem branch. And at the time, I think we were doing probably over 300 kids a day in that small building,
yeah, it was
right?
big, yeah.
It was in the summer, and it filled up. We sold out. I think we must have had 50 kids sleeping in that
Easily.
clubhouse
It
that
was
night.
full.
And I had asked a group of friends of mine if they could come and rattle the doors at the club at a specific time. So Dan and I had this plan that we were going to turn the lights down low after the pizza was served, and we were going to tell this scary story. And we really didn't know exactly what the story was going to be, but it was going to be something that had to do with an old man that was living in the attic. So we go on this long spiel, and all these kids are like slowly coming closer and gathering and listening, and we're talking about this old man that lives up in the attic.
Because no one was allowed to go in the supply room unless you were a junior staff, because there was this ladder that was dangerous that went to the attic. So no one was allowed up there.
Right. So they really believed it, and they were so intrigued. And right when I knew it was 10 o'clock that my friends were going to come rattle the doors, and I said, actually, I think he's coming home for the night right now. And the doors rattle. We turned on the lights, and it was like mice scattering. Everybody screamed. And Danny and I are just cracking up.
Yeah.
And then that was the night that the sprinklers turned on out in the grass
And
at
there
the
we go.
school.
Yeah.
And all these kids went out at like 1 o'clock in the morning and ran in the sprinklers. And it was just like this perfect night.
Several times in my life where, where would I have been if the club didn't, exist across the street from my house. My mom was a full-time mom. She worked her butt off to provide for my brother and I, and my stepsisters. And, I had a neighbor who lived behind me who we were from 3 years old till, even high school. But, there was a separation because after school I would go to the club and she wouldn't. And I know that she had some problems and she got into some things that, I know I would have gotten into if I didn't have the club, because we did have a good bond and we were really good friends. So I thank the club for being there, for that opportunity for me to take the more positive path versus a more detrimental path that could have really affected, my life.
I see nothing but growth and positive. I think that new leadership is starting to step up, and the baton is being handed over to the next generation, which is great because the previous generation is handing over a masterpiece that I think that they can just take and make it even better. But yeah, I think that there's a lot in store for the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, just looking back at knowing all the alumni, not necessarily just in Santa Clarita, but there's a lot of alumni that have done stuff, and so that's a perfect example of, expressing to the community that this is a good thing, and this is, an important thing to make sure that your children are involved, because, reality is most parents both work, like my situation, and it just gives somewhere for a child to build on their social skills and not be on their phone.
Happy 50th anniversary, Boys and Girls Club.